guys, welcome back. My name is Gabrielle and I have a new setup. I put up some posters behind me. Obviously the whole wall isn't covered, it might look a little awkward, but it's cute. It's better than like just the blankness that it was. I didn't like how white everything was.
Do you like it?
And I'm more center because I don't know, I just preferred to be a little more straight, even though I'm not straight. Today I'm gonna do a tag. It's been a while since I've done a tag and I think tags are super fun. This is the Celebrity Influencer Brands tag. And this tag was created like almost a year ago by Tara Brooke. I will link Tara's video in the description. But basically these are just tags about celebrity and influencer brands. I have a lot of opinions on those brands, especially with Tati Beauty closing down, and Ariana Grande's brand is finally revealed. So yeah, now's a good time as any. And if you are interested in hearing me have opinions, isn't that what the entire point of a YouTube is? Then just stay tuned, subscribe, and let us start. First question is, what are your general thoughts on influencer and celebrity beauty brands? This is tricky because when I first got into makeup, like super into the beauty community, it was like 2016, and I feel like we were already seeing these beauty brands come out. So I feel like they've kind of been around for as long as I've been in this space. But then the more I got into makeup, the more that I kept like gatekeeping who can have a brand and who can't. And I learned my lesson with that because of my whole Rare Beauty and House Labs philosophy. How nobody wanted Selena Gomez to have a makeup brand, and now I think she's got one of the best brands you can get at Sephora. I think her products are really well formulated, and they're not like these super creative, colorful things, but they're just like good staples and really well thought out, beautiful shade ranges. And House Labs is better off not existing. So if you can create a product, if you can actually get in the lab, or really get people to get in the lab and create something beautiful, then yeah, do it. I don't care. But obviously not all these brands are good. Obviously a lot of them are way too expensive for what they are, and you know that they don't really give a shit. They're just trying to profit. Brands that give the most cash grab vibes. J-Lo. Because what the fuck? J-Lo is like super cash grabby to me because for one thing, her products are so expensive, and I just don't believe in paying $200 or $100 or even like $50 for skincare. The thing that bothers me about her brand is that she says, "This is how I got my skin." And it's like, I don't like when celebrities or influencers think that their audience is stupid. When you say shit like that, I get the impression that you think I'm stupid, and I don't like that. Like J-Lo, it doesn't matter that you get needles in your body, it doesn't matter that you get work done. That's not really the point. The point is that you're not disclosing it, and that you're telling people you just have to pay for really expensive skincare to get this really good skin. And it's like, we didn't forget that you're a celebrity. We didn't forget that you have the money to go to a dermatologist and get facials, and more importantly, like plastic surgery and like Botox and whatever it is. And it's like, there's nothing wrong with doing any of that, but lying about it and saying like, no, just do this, it's fine. Jennifer, I'm not saying as soon as you get it you have to tell your followers, but you are selling products. You are making this unrealistic expectation for your customers to have, and I don't like that. Trisha Paytas. Trisha Paytas. I'm gonna be honest here. I don't even know what the fuck Trisha's content is supposed to be besides just being that. I don't even know how much into beauty they are. Like besides hanging out with Jeffree Star, like what are you, do you even like wear makeup or skincare? Like I genuinely don't know the answer to that. Like I'm not saying that in a condescending way. I genuinely don't know. But the thing about their brand was that the products were bad. People were buying them and they were getting really, really bad reactions. They made the brand with somebody that is not a dermatologist. I forgot her name, but she like has a studio, right? Or like a spa or whatever. And she makes you sign like a waiver saying, we understand here that I'm not an esthetician, I'm not a dermatologist. She's not claiming to be, but she is saying like, but I have the gift of skin. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't want somebody to be formulating my skincare saying I have the gift of skin. That's why I'm doing this, like I'm not a chemist. And then like there was a video, I'm pretty sure I saw this because of James Welch's video about Trisha's brand. The girl that they partner with, I really forgot her name, I'm sorry. But you're touring like her space, right? And somebody like brought their dog in there. Obviously dogs are beautiful, incredible, and happiness. But they just shouldn't be in a space like that. They could contaminate whatever it is that you're making. It wasn't just that the dog was there. The dog pooped. And they showed the poop on the camera. And I think that's gross. It's just gross. Yeah, this was Trisha's brand. And it went over terribly. You didn't actually take the time to make sure that these were good products. You simply did this for a bag. And there's nothing wrong with making money, okay? There's nothing wrong with selling products because the whole point of starting a business is for money. We need to understand this. But that is just not the way to go. I'm going to quickly mention Addison Rae and Valkyrie because Addison Rae, again, do I look like her demographic? I don't know if the girl is really into skincare or makeup or not. I mean, she wears it. Right? I don't know. I feel like the most I know about her is that horrid movie. I'm assuming she wears makeup, but she has a skincare line now. And it's just like, okay, what's going on here? Like, I know when it comes to these really big TikTokers, they create a whole team because they get so famous. And they kind of are planning things for them. Like from what I've learned about the D'Amelio sisters from other people like covering their show is that a lot of the things that they put their name on it's not really their choice, it's their managers, because their managers are trying to make money as well. Their job, what they're getting paid to do, is to manage these TikTokers. So I'm assuming that the same thing happened with Addison Rae. By no means am I saying that this was like against her will and free Addison Rae. Like, that's not really what I'm saying, but I feel like, yeah, she probably doesn't give a shit about skincare, or she probably didn't create these concepts. Her managers probably did, and they just stuck her name on there and went along with it. That's just my guess. I don't know the girl. And then Valkyrie, and I don't know, I just know that she's really, really big on Twitch. Again, I've been meaning to watch James Welch's video on Valkyrie's line, I just haven't yet. But he basically said it was a scam. That's like the title of his video. So I'm gonna assume that that's what the video is about, how the brand is a scam. And it's not to say that, you know, oh, gamers don't use skincare like they do. Yeah, I guess I would just say that Valkyrie is not the person that I would expect to have a skincare line. When it comes to Valkyrie, like, why are people so creepy when it comes to her? Like, this is a side note, but like, if you search Valkyrie's name on Reddit, there's like 2 whole subreddits that are dedicated to her, like dedicated to her. Like, I really don't want to elaborate, like, do you get what I mean? It's really gross and creepy, and please stop. Y'all are weird. Finally, we're gonna move on to the next question. Brand you own the most products from? Fenty. It has to be Fenty. Like, I have the foundation, several of her glosses, her highlighters, her cream blushes, her cream bronzer. I got her powder in the Sephora sale. I think that is everything I own from her, but I'm pretty sure there is no other influencer or celebrity where I own that many things. I owned a few things from Rare Beauty, but like not as many as Fenty. Brands you haven't tried but you still want to. I kind of want to try About Face, Halsey's brand, because it's cute. I really like the aesthetic that she's going for. I guess I just don't know what to buy. Her cream shadows, I really love the colors, but again, I just don't know if I would use those. She has a highlighter that I think has really cute packaging. It's a brand that's definitely like on my radar. I just kind of don't know what to buy. I don't know what it is that I want to like commit to. A brand you would be willing to try if the owner wasn't so problematic. This is hard. And this is hard because a lot of the brands that I think are problematic are boring. Nothing has really intrigued me from Jacqueline. Like, maybe the shades of her lipsticks, like the OG lipsticks. And to those people that either they got a good one or they got one that was like gritty and weird, but they dealt with it, they said that the formula's great. And they were really creamy and everything. And of course that didn't like make me wish I had them or anything, because it was just too much of a situation. But besides that, nothing calls to me. The blush palette maybe, but other I don't know. Jeffree Star, have you seen his products lately? Like, what the fuck is that man doing? Like, I feel like he's spiraling, and I do believe that we are seeing like a trickling effect with Jeffree Star. I don't think you can cancel a person. I don't think that that works. I don't think that you can get rid of somebody's fame. I think that once that person is notable, for better or for worse, they're just always gonna be this public figure. However, I have heard that Jeffree Star is showing up in like TJ Maxx, TK Maxx, Ross, I think. Does old makeup end up at Ross? I don't go to Ross, but I do think that it's working. And I do think that less and less people are buying from him. Of course, you still got his core fan base, but but anyways, the products he's been releasing lately, okay, like even the ones he did last year, which we'll get to, when you look at the color stories, you're like, that's it. I guess if I had to pick, I would say old school Jeffree Star. The thing is that I have bought his products before, okay? I do have that dark past, like many other people do that no longer support him. His older products back then, they really were interesting and they really were nice to look at, but yeah, he's lost that mojo. Brand with the most controversial launch. All right, we're just gonna talk about the same brands here. Two Jeffree launches come to mind, but I do think that they are beat. The conspiracy launch, there's a lot to talk about there because it was his collaboration with Shane Dawson. It was after they did that whole docu-series, The Life of Jeffree Star, I don't know, whatever, that. They did like some number of episodes of it, and then after all the videos were out, then they were like, hey, buy our product. This whole docu-series was an infomercial for their collection. Like, is that not weird? And the fact that it's a collaboration with Shane Dawson. We've seen so much shit about Shane Dawson in the past year, or if you've really been paying attention for the past decade. Really, the past year, we've kind of just been seeing everything. Like, this is why he's a bad person. After so many things like that you're doing that are extremely disturbing, there's nothing appealing about Shane Dawson. Like, I'm sorry, I genuinely get nauseous when I look at him because he is just so disturbed. Like, I think about the things that he's done, especially with dogs, and it's just so gross and I gag. There's nothing appealing about Shane Dawson. And of course he made a comeback to YouTube. Of course he did. I think a good point is that he's not getting as many views as he used to. Like, yes, 2 million views is a lot, but he used to get more than 2 million. Jeffree Star Cremated was also really, really terrible because it came out during a worldwide pandemic, and I feel like it was one of the worst times of COVID. We had no vaccine, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing, we were still in lockdown, and death. Death-themed palette. Like, it's not even like a spooky woo-woo palette. Like, it was literally like grandma's ashes. Like, okay. It was just bad. And then you had people kissing his ass saying like, oh, but he couldn't have predicted the pandemic, you guys. And I'm like, no, he couldn't have predicted the pandemic, but he could have just taken the L. And again, I don't know anything about producing makeup, so I don't know if it's possible for him to just like not launch Cremated at all. Somebody would have to let me know, but I do think that he had enough money to like change the name or something. Like, it was just ridiculous. It was so bad. However, I do think that the most controversial launch, it has to go to chocolate. It has to go to those fucking lipsticks. Those were literally a health hazard. Like, they were gritty, they were moldy, there was hairs in them, people were like cutting themselves and they were putting it on because there was like, it wasn't glass, it was like metal. The most controversial thing about that launch is that she never fucking explained why. Okay, she said it was hairy gloves, and no. Okay, for people to speak out that have formulated makeup like Marlene Estelle and say, no, People do not use hairy gloves when making makeup. She said, but all the ingredients in my lipsticks are FDA approved. Milk and eggs are FDA approved. Just because something is FDA approved doesn't mean that it can't go bad. What happens when you leave milk out for too long and then you use it in your macaroni? It bothers me. It bothers me so much that she never explained what the fuck happened, and look at her now, she's thriving. If that is not white privilege, like, you know, she wouldn't have gotten away with it otherwise. Like, no, she wouldn't. No, she wouldn't. A brand that wouldn't have seen the success it's had if it didn't have a famous face behind it. I can easily say Jacqueline. Again, because I just imagine those lipsticks coming out from like a random indie brand. Do you really think they'd be in business right now? Honestly, like my answer, it's KKW. Just imagine when KKW came out, these fucking contour sticks. Do you really think people would give a shit if it wasn't Kim K? Do you really think people would have bought them if it wasn't Kim K? I don't know if she's still having a brand or not. I know she was rebranding, and I assumed it was because of the divorce. I don't know if she's gonna come back, but the products that she did release, they were so boring. Like, they were just the same old things. The camouflage palette, which was like one of the last things she came out with, that was a cute palette, but I know that I had those colors for 1. 2, I'm never giving the Kardashians or Jenners my money. And 3, I felt like it was mostly exciting because it was coming from a brand that was so boring. I feel like just look at her catalog, take her face away from it, and do you really think it would have sold? Like, I don't think so. A brand that doesn't rely on its owner for success. I'm gonna say Summer Fridays, because for the longest time I did not know that was an influencer brand. Honestly, I don't even remember the influencer's name. So I think that says a lot. Like, I had no idea that it was an influencer brand. And not that that cheapens it or lessens it or anything. I was like, oh, okay. People raved the products, the lip stuff. I think they had a mask, like an airplane mask or like a jet lag mask or something. Like, people genuinely like their products. I have plenty of others in mind, like Lunar Beauty or Huda Beauty. I didn't know that Huda Katan was an influencer. I knew of her brand first before I really knew of her. Cosmetics is another one. Like, all those other brands, they really just like follow their own aesthetic that may not like relate to the influencer, besides Huda putting her face on everything. But you know what I mean? Like, it just works on its own. But I feel like Summer Fridays is just like my top answer, simply because there's really nothing about the influencer in the products. And I guess mainly just because I didn't know that it was an influencer brand for the longest time, because I feel like a lot of people don't know that. A brand that surprisingly doesn't align with its owner's persona or aesthetic. Haus Labs. You've heard me go on and on about Haus Labs. Like, at this point I have like a disdain. Which is so dumb, but it's like, I'm just that disappointed. Like, what the hell is this? Lady Gaga is not neutrals. Lady Gaga is not lip oils. I mean, she could like lip oils, but you know what I mean? Like, they're just so bad. Even like the shade range of her bronzers, I remember it was a pretty bad shade range. And I wouldn't expect that from Lady Gaga. I would expect her to really cater. I would expect her to really cater to different skin tones better than she has been. Haus Labs doesn't correlate. Social experiment. Show Haus Labs to someone that knows Lady Gaga but doesn't know that she has a brand, maybe because they're not like in tune, and see if they guess whose brand it is. Brand that deserves more hype. So both of these brands, they don't have a lot of products. Both of the owners are very busy. They're both moms. It's hard. However, I think that the products that they do have are really beautiful. They have been like talked about, but I feel like they were mostly talked about when they were new, but I feel like this stands like the test of time. Okay, so the first brand is Org. Org, man, like, hello. She only has 2 products, Samantha Ravindal, or 2 like lines of products, I should say. I just love them so much. Like, I use Glow Lust nonstop. Whether you mix it with your foundation or use it as a liquid highlighter, it's beautiful. It's definitely gonna be one of my best products of the year. I mean, obviously, I can't stop talking about it. I think that she's doing great things at Org. I love the way that, again, she's catering to different skin tones. She reformulated Morganite so that it could like suit people better, and I just think that she's great. I think that she's running her brand really, really well. The second brand is Likely Makeup. I love Likely Makeup. I own a few of her lashes and her blush palette. I feel like the lashes are pretty dramatic, but they're really nice and they've been lasting pretty well because I've worn them quite a few times. And the blushes are really pigmented, but you could still like get a more toned down look with them if that's what you're going for. And I just love the aesthetic of her products as well. Like, she does the artwork on the packaging herself and it's just really beautiful. I believe she runs the brand with her husband. It's just adorable. Like, yeah, she doesn't release a ton, but she has a pretty good portfolio. There's only 2 more questions. A brand that doesn't live up to the hype. This is kind of cheating. I don't own anything from this brand, but I think it's mainly because nothing really calls out to me. One Size. One Size is weird. Their first launch was a makeup eraser. And I understand the story behind it, and I do think that it's sad when men are told like you need to take off your makeup. I obviously don't agree with the gender roles of makeup, and you know, anybody can wear it. I even like the phrase that makeup is a one size fits all, because this is something that Ashley Graham actually said. I mean, she didn't like create this tagline and he stole it or anything, but she has said how one of the reasons that plus size people love makeup is because it always works. It's always gonna fit on your face. Like, it's not something to where you like need to get a size up or something. Like, it doesn't matter what size you are. You can wear like any makeup that you want to. And I think that that's a very interesting point and something that I agree with as someone who's a size 16, because I go to the store and however, I don't know. I feel like the products he's been releasing lately, they make a little more sense, like his powder and whatever, but I feel like the launches are always just kind of odd. I mean, even when he came out with, was it the powder? Does he have a concealer? I really don't know, but he came out with something and the photos were like very inauthentic because they were saying this powder can do this to your skin. Like, no amount of makeup can do that to skin. You can't get rid of somebody's texture blemishes like that much. I feel like Dragon Beauty also doesn't live up to the hype. Again, I've never tried her products and I'm never going to, but her launches are kind of just snoozy. Like, she doesn't really release anything interesting because like Nikita is a very like beautiful person on the outside only, and there's like interesting things about her, and I feel like her beauty line just doesn't reflect that at all. So yeah, I guess I'm kind of saying this brand doesn't live up to the hype based on the hype of the influencer, if that makes sense. And this might be too early for me to say, but just to have another answer, Rem Beauty. Ariana Grande. I'll talk more about this in my new makeup releases later this month, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the products that we're seeing yet. I mean, obviously, I don't know anything about the formula. Nobody does. But I'm just like, oh, that's what that is. Okay. Right, this is the last question. Who is one celebrity and or influencer you'd love to see come out with their own beauty brand in the future? Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus's like rock era right now is really stunning. Like, I really love her fashion, and even the makeup that she's wearing like in her shoots is really beautiful, and I think that she could really serve like some good glam rock makeup. I mean, if she were to come out with a brand, like, I would be like, yeah, oh yeah, like, I'm excited. I kind of feel like she won't though, but it would be really cool. I really can't think of any more answers for someone that I want to come out with a beauty brand. Like, I kind of feel like everybody's done it. Like, Mariah Carey is about to come out with one. And it's kind of tricky because there's other celebrities that I kind of have in mind because I love their makeup looks, but I also feel like that's kind of more because they have a makeup artist. Chloe Bailey's makeup is actually really, really beautiful. Like, Beyonce. Obviously, Beyonce has Sir John. Wait, does he have a makeup line? Even like Whitney Houston, like, I had this photo saved of Whitney Houston because I genuinely was like, that makeup is so good. But yeah, it's kind of tricky. And I don't really know what influencers don't have a makeup line at this point, you know? So I guess my main answer is Miley Cyrus. Like, can you imagine the packaging of Miley Cyrus makeup? Like, it would be so good. Yeah, I guess that's everything. I mean, that was all the questions. I normally am recording for longer than this, so I'm kind of just like, oh, I'm done. That was the Celebrity Influencers Brands tag created by Tara Brooke. Yeah, this tag has been around for a while and there's more videos on it, so I'm late to the party, but it's okay. If you want, you could answer these questions yourself if you make videos for one. Also, you could comment either all the questions or just a couple. I'd love to hear your opinions on these questions. Yeah, basically that is it. Follow me on Instagram at Gabrielle rizz-uh_, where I post sometimes. And thank you so much for watching as well. You've been a lovely audience, and I'll talk to you later.